Ladies and gentlemen, we will call to order the Tuesday, February 17th, year 2026. This is our House Transportation Subcommittee. If all of our members could please log into the electronic system. Mr. Clerk, if you could open up to where we can take roll. If you are here, please let us know that you're here, members. We've got one more member signing in, and we'll wait for his attendance. And he is here. Mr. Clerk, could you please take attendance?
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. The chair and the clerk detect a quorum. Thank you very much for being here today. Do we have any personal orders to come before the committee? I will take the liberties of announcing on behalf of the Tennessee Department of Transportation. Tennessee Department of Transportation Commissioner Will Reed has invited us as legislators to join their TDOT for their annual legislative breakfast tomorrow morning at 7:15 until 8:30 a.m. on the second floor of the Cordell Hull building. It's the Volunteer Conference Center for the Comptrollers. We will have leadership teams here from all 4 of TDOT's regions. And outside the building tomorrow, we will be unveiling one of the new TDOT Rural Service Patrol trucks, one of the help trucks, just outside the building that some of the monies we invested last year with the tire tax going toward transportation has funded. So looking forward to that. Should be a good time, and you'll get to see the folks you see back home here in Nashville. Thank you very much. Any more personal orders? I will take another liberty as we are going through the calendar today. If a bill rolls this week, the roll will be to the next available calendar. There is conversation that may be 2 weeks from now, and I'll let someone else make that announcement. But if we do roll a bill today, it will be to the next available calendar. Without objection, I said that. All right. We do have a calendar in front of us, and we will begin with item number 1, House Bill 1706 by Deputy Speaker Zachary. Deputy Speaker, you have a motion. You have a second. We have several amendments before us, Deputy Speaker. Which one would you like to go forward with, sir?
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. Mr. Chairman, we're going to move forward with 13469, 013469.
And that is the drafting code. We have a motion and a second in favor of placing Amendment 013469 on the legislation. Let's go ahead and put that on. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Your bill is amended and ready for presentation. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. Makes it easy. Everybody's sitting on the right side. My right. Members, as we all know, the failure of the federal government has left states with the unfortunate task of addressing illegal immigration. We have a decades-long issue that has been caused by both Republicans and Democrats. Up until recently under President Trump, we've gone 8 months with no illegal border crossing. So now that we have addressed the core issue, while Congress is not providing the assistance that the states need, we as states have to address the issue of illegal immigration. Many people will ask, well, is illegal immigration an issue in our state? And it certainly is, based on the DA's conference report that was issued on January 20th. Most Tennesseans are surprised that in 2025, 21,648 illegal aliens committed 11,344 illegal aliens committed 21,648 crimes. And Mr. Chairman and Committee, these are probably the most egregious numbers out of that. Out of those 11,000 crimes, 2,183 were violent offenses, 41 homicides, 41 Tennesseans have lost their lives due to illegal aliens that are in the state, 452 aggravated assaults, 40 aggravated kidnappings, and 11 children raped. And then moving to our highways, Mr. Chairman and Committee, roughly 2,920 DUI offenses were committed by illegals in 2025. So based on those numbers, we as lawmakers have a responsibility to protect Tennesseans, protect our highways, to preserve taxpayer resources for Tennesseans, and ensure that we're stewarding taxpayer dollars well. This piece of legislation you have in front of you deals with the safety aspect, Mr. Chairman of Committee. Many of you have seen, and we've all been astonished by the accidents that have been caused and have been incurred by our constituents and people across the country with illegals with CDLs. I'm not going to go through all these, but I pulled just the top 25 accidents that were caused by illegals with CDLs in 2025. I pulled the 10 most egregious that all had fatalities. And Mr. Chairman, most people don't realize that in December of 2025 in Putnam County at about 6 a.m., an illegal caused a crash that resulted in a fatality and multiple injuries reported. And that was just in Putnam County in December of last year. So this piece of legislation directly addresses that. To protect our highways, Mr. Chairman, it does a couple of things. One, it ensures in code that it is illegal to be an illegal with a CDL. That is not crystal clear, so we're making that clear. A violation of that will be a Class A misdemeanor. If a law enforcement agency has engagement with an illegal with a CDL, they're immediately to contact ICE or our centralized immigration enforcement division of the state. This provides a cause of action against any Tennessean who is injured by an illegal with a CDL if there's property damage or personal damage to them. We made sure to protect our truckers in Tennessee that are doing it the right way. We put some caveats in here related to E-Verify because they're going to utilize the E-Verify system. If there's something wrong with the E-Verify system and somehow an illegal with a CDL gets through that, they're not held liable. We protect our truckers also. They're doing it the right way by also, let me go to my next page, by also lining up code with our current tort action. Then we also address the insurance piece of this, and ensuring that the insurance companies are not liable if someone is violating federal law with a CDL. And then we also ensure that it is a direct employer that does this. So if Aluminum Company or Copart or anybody else may be utilizing Big G Express, Pipe Marsh's company for hauling or whoever it may be, if something happens with that, they are not held liable. This is only the direct employee. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I think that quickly explained the bill. We also, just a couple of things that we were asked to clearly define. We also clearly define in our code what unlawfully present in the United States means. We also clearly identified direct employer, and then we tie everything back to compensatory, punitive damage and court costs that were in our code that are in 2939, 101, 102, and 104. With that explanation, Mr. Chairman, I stand ready for questions.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Any questions or comments for the sponsor? Representative Bain, you're recognized.
So I want to start by saying that public safety should be taken seriously. If there is a legitimate safety issue on our roads, this body should absolutely address it. But I also take seriously the principles that many of us campaigned on, which is limited government overreach, not expanding criminal law unless we can clearly articulate the harm being prevented. If we're going to create a new misdemeanor and empower private citizens to bring enforcement actions, I want to understand what concrete public safety problem we are solving and whether the solution matches our stated principles. So my first question, if you could respond, and then I have a second question. If a driver has passed CDL safety test and meets federal Department of Transportation standards, what public safety issue does this bill actually solve?
Deputy Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, this addresses illegals with CDL. Any state that's done this, up to 19 states have done this, it's a violation of federal law, period. So if you're going to violate federal law and you were going to allow an unqualified illegal immigrant to have a CDL, you're not coming into the state of Tennessee and jeopardizing the Tennesseans that live in our state.
Representative Bain.
Follow-up question. This bill allows private citizens to bring civil enforcement actions. Do you believe empowering private bounty-style litigation aligns with conservative principles of limited government?
Deputy Speaker.
Here's what I believe. If a Democrat state provides a CDL to an illegal, and exactly what happened in Putnam County, and that illegal comes in our state and causes an accident that kills one of our Tennesseans, then absolutely there should be a cause of action against the company that hired that illegal with a CDL, knowing that was a violation of federal law, and they should be able to go after the state, the blue state, the Democrat state that gave that constituent that gave that illegal with a CDL, that license in violation of federal law. It's just clear federal law, period, end of story. So we are a nation with we're a rule of law. We are a state that enforces the law. And so that's what we're going to do here.
Wonderful.
Representative Bain, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. If someone has met federal safety standards, has passed CDL exams, is operating safely, then the conduct we are criminalizing is not unsafe driving, it is immigration status. And when we create private bounty-style enforcement mechanisms, we are not shrinking government, but outsourcing state power to private actors and inviting litigation. Because once we expand the criminal code and deputize private citizens to enforce it, then precedent doesn't just apply here, it lives on in perpetuity. Thank you.
Good, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Deputy Speaker, thank you very much. I think you've definitely shown how harm has occurred. It's been clearly presented to us, as well as the need to address our constituents' concerns. So thank you very much. Representative Chairman Russell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to the sponsor, the way I read this bill, it will also serve as a checks and balances from if you got a driver's license employee issuing these CDLs and they're not supposed to. I think that a year or two ago, we had driver's license examiners that was charging $2,500 for a CDL license. Would this serve as a checks and balances to that nature?
Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Russell, yes, it certainly provides clarity in our code because that's not there now. And that's what we start this legislation with, to provide that clarity. So yes, sir.
Thank you. Just making sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman Russell. Vice Chairman Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you carrying this bill, Representative. I think it's clear in your example that you used. I appreciate you using that example of a state that doesn't meet the standards that the federal government requires. And to address my colleague's concern, just because somebody has a CDL doesn't mean they're qualified. There's many states that, as another colleague just mentioned, where they were not being properly vetted to make sure they met those credentials. So I don't think it's wise that we have somebody that can't read English driving a commercial motor vehicle. And I think you demonstrated that very well in examples that you gave and listing the number of fatalities and some of the egregious acts that have happened, specifically on a driving standpoint. So I appreciate you bringing this bill, and I support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Deputy Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, if I may. And Representative Butler, thank you for those comments. And I believe you'll have a bill following right behind mine that it further addresses some of the issues you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Howell, you're recognized.
Deputy Speaker, thank you for this bill, and thank you. You and I chatted about this bill, and you've worked on it with some other folks, and I think made it even a stronger bill. What I see is some states in the United States trying to nullify federal law. And what this bill says, we're not going to allow that. If you try to nullify a federal law and you give somebody a CDL license and you come into Tennessee and we find that you're here illegally, you're not going to be held accountable. So I appreciate the bill. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Seeing no one else on the list, are you ready to vote? We'll open the voting. All those in favor of sending House Bill 1706 as amended to full Transportation Committee, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. Has every member voted? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes and 1 no.
The bill meets the affirmative. House Bill 1706 moves to full transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Committee.
Thank you. We are now ready for item number 2 on our calendars. Item number 2 is House Bill 1706 by Representative Capley. Representative Capley, you have your motion, you have your second. Do you have some amendatory language, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me get it right here. I believe that number is 013261, Mr. Chairman.
And that is what the chair detects. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a motion, we have a second on House Amendment Drafting Code 013261. That will help add a subsection and improve your bill. Let's go ahead and vote on that. All those in favor of attaching Amendment 013261 to the bill, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Your bill is amended. You are recognized for explanation, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, House Bill 1708 requires that every registration or renewal of registration to be accompanied with the notice that the owner or operator of this vehicle is required to be a U.S. citizen, a lawful permanent resident, or a temporary lawful resident. The second part authorizes the administration of the written examination under certain circumstances for driver's license or intermediate driver's license in a language other than English if the applicant is unable to speak or read the English language. Now, in so doing that, it will establish a 1-year non-renewable restricted license for the applicant. And then once that 1 year is completed, that individual must take the test in English without any assistance. And we've also added some clarifying language in there to, excuse me, add that if the individual has a written statement from a physician that they have a hearing impairment, that this will not affect them. And that is what the bill does.
Thank you. Forgive me for the sidebar there. Thank you very much for the explanation. Do you have any questions or comments on the legislation? Representative Bain, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we know, driving is not a luxury in Tennessee. It's how people get to work. It's how people care for their loved ones. It's how they access healthcare. It's how they meaningfully participate in their economy, especially rural economies like your Mexican restaurants that are in Wayne County. In a state with limited public transportation, a driver's license is directly tied to economic participation. So when we create a restricted license category for individuals who cannot pass an English language test, even if they are otherwise qualified to drive, so we need to be clear about the problem we're trying to solve. So my first question is, how does limiting travel to employment, education, medical appointments, specifically advanced roadway safety, and particularly when there are other routines, these other routine appointments require the same ability to read and follow traffic laws and signage?
Representative Kaplan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, to address your question, driving is a privilege. It is not a right. You have to earn the privilege to drive in the state of Tennessee. We have the restricted 1-year license that would include work, hospital visits, et cetera, et cetera. After that 1 year, they can take the test in English. They have a year to study to take the test in English. All of our signs are in English. All our traffic commands are given in English. If the THP pulls you over, guess what he's speaking? English.
Follow up, Representative Bain.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And have you or the Department of Safety evaluated whether these restrictions could create unintended consequences and hardships for families, particularly heads of households, caregivers, and working parents who are just trying to survive?
Representative Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have not conducted an independent study of individuals across the state that do not speak the English language.
Follow up, Representative Bain.
This continues to be an abhorrent use of our time to be castigating immigrant families who are just trying to participate in our economies and go to work and take care of their kids, just like you and the rest of us in this building. And I will be voting no in perpetuity.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from committee members? There is an individual, Mr. Richard Colbert, has indicated he would like to speak. I will entertain that. Without objection, we will go out of session. Mr. Colbert, if you could, Mr. Colbert, we are in process of this committee and subcommittees. We are allowing 3 minutes of testimony with the ability to ask a question or have an answer afterwards that, but we will stick strictly to the 3 minutes, and whenever you get set up, we'll start the time.
To stand or sit?
Whichever is more comfortable for you, sir.
Well, it's just as easy to stand.
Well, I got
bad legs, so.
Once again, we are out of session, and Mr. Colbert, you are recognized.
Thank you. My name's Rick Colbert. I live in Representative McCammon's district. I appreciate his help in being here today. I live at 1659 Pinkerton Road in Brentwood. And I'm here in opposition to this bill. And I oppose it because of unintended consequences. And you know, one of the most obvious one is I think it's just going to increase the number of drivers on the road without driver's licenses. that we're all going to be confronting from time to time, maybe in an accident, maybe they won't have insurance either. But the real reason that I oppose it is the harm that it will do to people who are lawfully here. And I'm going to give you a real story that explains why this is so personal to me. Fulgencio Santiago and his wife, Ana, and their 3 young children spoke no English when they came to the United States. Fulgencio's English, well, they read no English. Fulgencio did have enough English just to get by in his job, but he could not have passed an English-only driver's license test. Ana couldn't read or speak English. She couldn't pass an English-only driver's license test. If this bill had been law back then, it would have imposed an immense hardship on the Santiago family, including their 3 small children. The first person in the family to actually learn English, to read English, was Wanda, the oldest child, who learned English when she began elementary school. And her mother, Ana, learned it by following along with Wanda's lessons. Now, the part of the story that may not be so obvious from the last name Santiago is that Fulgencio and Ana were United States citizens from the moment they got here. They were not immigrants. They were born and raised in Puerto Rico, where the spoken and written language is Spanish. They came to the United States because Fulgencio was sent here by his employer, the United States Army. He was stationed at various places around the world and eventually wound up in the United States. He left his family behind, his wife and his 3 small children, none of whom spoke or read English, because the U.S. Army sent him to Vietnam, where he earned a Bronze Star, spending a year in the jungle fighting for the United States of America. He passed away in 2009 in part because of his exposure to Agent Orange while he was in Vietnam. Ana is still around. She's 92 years old. She'll be 93 April 1st. And Wanda, the first member of the family to learn to read English, is now 69 years old. She also resides in Representative McCammon's district. Next month, she and I will celebrate our 42nd wedding anniversary.
Thank you, Mr. Colbert. We're out of time there, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate your testimony. Any questions or comments from Mr. Colbert? Representative Bain?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you just finish quickly the remaining remarks? Thank you so much.
Mr. Colbert?
Yes. Our criminal laws are passed, and I know this is not a criminal law, but our criminal laws are passed with the notion that it's better that a guilty person go free than that an innocent person should be punished. Our immigration laws really should take a similar approach. We should avoid harming the millions of people like the Santiagos who are here legally, but simply do not read or speak English. We have plenty of functionally illiterate people who speak English, but they can't read a test in English. Apparently, this bill would allow those people to get a driver's license, even though they can't read English because they can speak it. But we're going to take people like the Santiagos, who are U.S. citizens, whose language is Spanish, and we're going to restrict them to going to work and back, or going to school and back, or going to the doctor and back. They won't be able to go out to dinner. They won't be able to drive to the store. They won't be able to pick up their child at daycare. There's so many things they won't be able to do. They won't be able to live as productive citizens of the United States that they are citizens of.
Thank you. Forgive me, Chairman Russell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How would you expect somebody to drive safely if they can't read the road signs?
Well,
Mr. Colbert.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, speed limit signs have numbers, not anything they have to read other than a number. Stop signs are all red octagons. Yield signs are yellow triangles. There are all of our signs, the safety related signs, You have yield, when you're yielding onto the interstate, there's a sign with a big arrow that's the main road and a small arrow that's the ramp that you're getting on. All our safety related traffic signs are designed so that if you don't read the language, you can still understand the sign.
What are those signs in Mexico?
Pardon me?
What are those signs in Mexico? What color are they?
I don't drive in Mexico, so I couldn't tell you. I've actually never been to Mexico, but I've driven in Spain, and you can functionally get by as a driver in Spain without having to read Spanish, which I don't. So,
Chairman Russell, follow up.
Couldn't that very argument be made for somebody moving here? They wouldn't know what our signs are?
Mr. Colbert.
well, they figure out what our signs are. They figure out what they are. I mean, we've got my father-in-law was able to get a driver's license, even though he couldn't have read a sign that said the distance from here to there is 800 miles. He could have read the 800, but he couldn't have read the rest of it. And he was able to drive safely because he was able to navigate his way with shapes and colors and the basics of safety in driving.
I definitely appreciate your testimony, but I just don't know that I feel comfortable with somebody coming up here and having to figure it out. So thank you.
Well, they've been figuring it out for decades. So
We're back in session. Any more questions of the sponsor? Representative Kaplan, you're recognized for closing comments, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to clear a couple things up. We are not getting rid of the written portion of the exam. Don't know where that came from. And secondarily, I can tell you a few signs that don't have numbers on them that will cause accidents. One of them, I'm sure many of you have seen, and I see it often: wet road conditions, please slow down. If you don't slow down, guess what? There you go. So anyway,
Very good point.
among others.
Vice Chairman Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to clarify, if they take this restricted license, that gives them a year to learn the language. So if they come here and they speak no English or very little or just enough to get by, they have the opportunity to learn it over the next year, especially traffic signs specifically and wet road, for example, that you just used. So we do have that in the bill. Is that not correct?
Representative Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir, Mr. Vice Chair. That is in the bill. They've got a year to learn enough English to pass the test.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Chairman McCalman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Representative Capley, thank you for this bill. Can you clarify and provide some color as to what those restrictions are on the bill when we say it's a restrictive license?
Representative Capley, when you find your notes, you're recognized.
Got you. Hold on one second. There we go.
Chairman McCalman, could you restate your question, please?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Representative Capley, can you please shine some light, provide some additional color and context for what these particular restrictions are with regards to this legislation?
You're recognized, Representative Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. The restrictions and the languages that we'll be offering it in, as we do currently, are English, German, Japanese, Korean, and Spanish. And then the restricted license, I'm trying to find it. I thought it had on here already. Give me 1 second. Got it someplace. Let me look at the actual bill. Actually, Mr. Chairman, can we have legal do that for us? Is that possible?
Legal has indicated that they can answer that question for us. Without objection, we are out of session. And we will recognize Mr. Joel Hayes. If you could please tell us who you are and who you're with.
Joel Hayes, Office of Legal Services. Representative, the restrictions as far as what the restricted license can be used for, it's granted for the limited purposes of traveling to and from an educational institution during the institution's regular hours, if the applicant is enrolled at an educational institution, to and from and working at the applicant's regular place of employment, and to and from the applicant's medical employments. Those are the uses of the restricted license.
Follow up, Chairman McCalman.
For the sponsor.
Okay. Any more questions while we are out of session? Seeing none, we will go back into session. Representative Capley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to legal for that explanation. I just found it. So that was perfect.
Chairman McCallum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Rep. Capley. I get, and I support this legislation. Would you consider it friendly to consider adding going to church, going to dinner, certainly keeping it restricted, but adding in, I certainly don't think, and I know you're a man of faith as well, and I certainly don't believe that your intention is to prevent somebody from going to their house of worship on a Sunday morning or however they worship. Would you consider that favorable?
Representative Capley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. I'd be amenable to having those conversations. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The mood of the subcommittee, we are not in the business of offering verbal amendments or untimely filed amendments in this committee. I think we can indicate by a vote we may take in a few moments. I feel comfortable and confident that Representative Capley will work with this committee and legal staff to address the concerns that he just heard, as well as potentially anything else that may come up. So we'll work on that as we go to the next stop of the legislation. All right. Are you ready to vote? All those in favor of sending House Bill 1708 as amended to Full Transportation Committee, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, please vote no. So remember, cast their vote. Mr. Clerk, could you please announce the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 8 ayes and 1 no.
Receiving an affirmative vote, House Bill 1708 moves to Full Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. We are now on item number 3 on our calendars, House Bill 1712 by Representative Reeves. Well, we may have got a little ahead of our skis on that one right there. Representative Reeves has just sent me a text message and has asked to roll this bill to the next available space on the next available calendar, which will be part of what I mentioned as the meeting began earlier. So we will roll this bill to the next available space on the next available calendar. Without objection, item number 3, House Bill 1712 is done that way. We are now on item number 4, House Bill 1713 by Representative Shaw. The request from Representative Shaw's office has been to roll this bill as well. That bill will meet with a similar posture as what we just did. Without objection, House Bill 1713 will be rolled to the next available space on the next available calendar. Item number 5 on our calendars, House Bill 1714 by Representative Shaw. The request has come from Representative Shaw's office to roll this bill as well. Without objection, House Bill 1714 will be rolled to the next available space on the next available calendar. Item number 6 on our calendar, House Bill 1739 by Representative Shaw. The request has come from Representative Shaw's office to roll this bill. Seeing no objection, House Bill 1739 will be rolled to the next available space on the next available calendar. We are now on item number 7 on our calendars, House Bill 1817 by Chairman Russell. Chairman Russell, you have your motion, you have your second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to either amend this next week, or I can present it today and we can pass it to full. And amend it between now and full.
Chairman Russell, I think on this particular one, let's give it a couple weeks and let's sit here and work on the amendatory language and roll this bill until the next available space on the next available calendar. I think waiting for the amendatory language.
Okay.
Okay. If that's all right with Chairman Russell. Without objection, we'll take House Bill 187 and we will roll that bill to the next available space on the next available calendar. Forgive me, let me restate that. House Bill 1817 by Chairman Russell will be rolled to the next available space on the next available calendar. Without objection. Thank you for keeping me straight on my words there. Thank you very much. We're now on item number 8 on our calendars, House Bill 2356 by Chairman Howell. Chairman Howell, you're recognized. You have a motion and you have a second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may take a moment of personal privilege, I have an old friend in the audience, just came in, Mr. Corey Dival, used to be the city planner in Cleveland. He's moved on up to bigger and better things, I believe, in Sweetwater. Is that correct? Sevierville. Oh, you really moved up to the big time with Representative Ashley. Watch out for this guy, okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I do apologize.
Glad to have you here.
I do apologize, but I wanted to recognize my old friend. Members, in 2019, you may recall the General Assembly took an important step in keeping our kids, our students safe when they ride school buses by allowing school systems to install cameras on the outside of school buses. And this was for purposes of when they are stopped to find people who are violating the law. Cleveland City Schools did a pilot program. Hamilton County Schools did a pilot program to check the value of this. And actually the numbers that have come in during this time are quite concerning. During the pilot program, on 5 buses just in the city of Cleveland, we saw more than 3 violations per bus per day. That's 15 a day of people violating the law. So nearly 10 times the average. That's just in the pilot program. And then the pilot program moved into a warning stage beginning January 1st. And they began to send warning citations to those drivers who are violating this law. And so just in the 30-day warning period of January 1, 39 drivers illegally passed a school bus. So the citation program is certainly working. And the good news is that an average of 90% of the drivers who receive a bus control violation never get another violation. They learn their lesson. So the problem which this bill seeks to address is that our law enforcement departments are stretched thin. Schools in my district, they all have SROs, many counties do, but the problem is there is such a large volume of these type violations that they just don't have the personnel or the time to look at all the videos, and the law states they have to be looked at by someone to ensure and pass on to law enforcement and the courts that there is a violation. So what this bill seeks to do is, it's kind of common sense really, is to add the school safety personnel to the list of the individuals who can review the school bus stop arm video footage and verify that there was a violation, and they will in turn report that on. This is still, it doesn't mess with the punishment at all. It's still a Class A violation. And this would be similar to, for example, a meter maid. They're not post-certified, but neither would the safety personnel be post-certified. But they can certainly, like a meter maid, can certainly write tickets, and I believe the safety personnel can certainly review a video footage and see if there is a violation. So that's what this bill asks that we do, is to make sure that all of the videos are reviewed and we continue to protect our children. With that, I ask for passage.
Thank you, Chairman Howell. Any questions or comments for the sponsor? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All those in favor of sending House Bill 2356 to Full Transportation Committee, please vote yes. Any opposed, please vote no. Mr. Clerk, could you please announce the vote?
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you. With the vote in the affirmative, House Bill 2356 moves to Full Transportation Committee. I think that we have taken action on each piece of legislation and rolled the ones appropriately. Seeing, hearing nothing to come before this subcommittee, we are adjourned.